everyone, my name is Mary, and today at Muscoot Farm we are reading Stone Soup, which was a European folktale that's been retold many times in many different countries. This version is retold by Heather Forrest, illustrated by Susan Gaber. And stick around for afterwards, we have a soup recipe of our own. There was once a comfortable little village nestled in the mountains. The people who lived there had more than enough to keep themselves content. One day, two travelers came along. Their coats were tattered. Their hats were torn. Their dusty shoes had holes in their soles. Hungry and tired, one traveler said to the other, "Surely someone here can spare a bit of food." They knocked boldly on a door. It creaked open and a woman asked, "What do you want?" "Please," said one of the travelers, "we are hungry. Do you care? Will you share? Do you have any food?" The woman squinted her eyes and tartly replied, "No." She quickly slammed the door shut. The travelers walked a little farther down the road and knocked on another door. A young boy answered. His chocolate brown eyes were sweet. "Good day," he said shyly. "What do you want?" "Please," said one of the travelers, "we are hungry. Do you care? Will you share? Do you have any food?" The boy replied, "There is no food here," and closed the door. The travelers wandered wearily through the village, knocking on every door, but everywhere they heard, "I don't care, I won't share, there is no food." They sat to rest beside a well. One traveler sighed and clutched his empty belly. He said, "If there is really no food in this elegant little village, then the people who live here are in greater need than we are. We should make them our magical soup." Two travelers climbed up on the ledge of the well and said, "We are master cooks. If anyone in this town has a big black pot, we will make the most delicious soup anyone has ever tasted." A door slowly opened. A round man emerged carrying a gigantic black pot. "I love to eat," he said. "Here's a pot. Let me see what two master cooks can do with it." "Watch and see," said one traveler with glee. The travelers filled the pot with cold water and built a fire. Soon the flames licked the sides of the pot and billows of steam rose into the air. Curious people began to gather. "What is happening?" the townspeople asked. "We are making an unusual soup," said one of the travelers. "It requires a special magical ingredient. I am certain we will find it in this town." All the eyes in the crowd watched as one of the travelers reached down and picked up an ordinary stone. He tossed it into the pot with a splash. "We're making stone soup," he said. "It will be nutritious, delicious, incredible, and edible. But it would taste better," he paused and sighed, "if only we had a carrot." "Where would we find a carrot in this town?" the other traveler asked. "We knocked on every door, and everywhere we heard, 'I don't care, I won't share, there is no food.'" "Then perhaps we cannot make this delicious soup after all," they both announced, with a sad shrug of their shoulders, and began to turn away. A child timidly raised her hand and said, "Wait, I might have a small carrot." "Excellent!" shouted the travelers. "Bring what you've got. Put it in the pot. We're making stone soup." "This magical soup would taste even better if we had a potato," they added. A deep voice in the back of the crowd called out, "I have a potato." "Wonderful!" shouted the travelers. "Bring what you've got. Put it in the pot. We're making stone soup." "It would taste better still," they said, if we had just a few more ingredients. Perhaps, said one villager, I could bring a green bean. Well, said another, if you're going to bring a green bean, I can bring a kernel of corn. I shall not be outdone, cried another. I will bring an egg noodle. One by one, voices announced, I will bring a slice of celery. I will bring a pinch of pepper. I can bring a sprig of parsley. I might have a tiny turnip. Well, why are you waiting? Cried the travelers. Bring what you've got. Put it in the pot. We're making stone soup. Everyone in the town ran home to bring one small thing to put in the pot. Food flew through the air and landed with splashes in the growing soup. Soon the huge pot was full and simmering. A wonderful smell drifted through the air. The smell was so tempting, people brought out bowls, spoons, chairs, and tables. They placed hearty loaves of bread, chunks of cheese, and bowls of fruit on the tablecloths. Everyone came to taste the soup and marveled at the flavor. It's amazing, said one woman. These two travelers made such a delicious soup out of a stone. Out of a stone, said the travelers with a grin. And a magical ingredient, sharing. As the travelers left the town, they said, if anyone ever wants to make this soup again, just remember the recipe. Bring what you've got, put it in the pot. Every bit counts, from the largest to the least. Together we can celebrate a stone soup feast. And that was the story of stone soup. Thanks for listening. Now let's go make some. Hi, my name is Mary, and today we're making stone soup. Just like in the story we read, the people used whatever they had on hand. So the vegetables are up to you, but I'll give you some suggestions. Join me at the stove where we will get started. We're making about 8 servings of soup, so we're going to use 4 cups of water, 2 cups of vegetable broth, and about 2 cups of whole peeled tomatoes in tomato juice. I'll save the extra for later this week. Maybe I'll make some pasta. Use a potato masher to mash the tomatoes a little bit so that you don't have giant tomato pieces in your soup. And we'll let this come to a boil while we chop our vegetables. Now we need 3 to 4 cups of chopped vegetables using a variety. I'm using carrots, potato, onion, and mushrooms. You can also add green beans, corn, peas, beets, whatever you like, and we'll chop them up. So we have our vegetables chopped, and we're going to start by adding the ones that take longer to cook to our soup. So that would be things like potatoes, carrots, onions, beets, any root vegetable. So let's put it in now. We'll add these, let it cook for about 25 minutes. Now that it's been 25 minutes, we will add the vegetables that take a little bit less time to cook. So I'm adding my mushrooms, or you can also add at this time corn or peas if you're using those. Give it a stir and let this cook for an additional 15 minutes. Okay, it's been 15 minutes. Time to add a little bit of tiny little pasta, about 1/4 cup. That may have been a little more than 1/4 cup, but who's counting? We'll give it a stir and let it continue cooking for 7 minutes. Now it's been 7 minutes. We're going to add some fresh herbs. If you have dried herbs at home you want to try too, add those as well, whatever you think might be fun. We had some fresh dill here, so I'm going with that. And then of course, some salt and pepper. season your soup until it tastes good to you. So we'll test this in a minute. Okay, we tested it. Tastes really good. So now it's time to serve. So if you've been following along, congratulations! You've made the legendary, the magical stone soup. Enjoy!